Discover and learn the difficult A to Z terminologies of fashion, only here on Fashion Dictionary. Mandarin collar. Oriental in origin, this is a short, unfolded stand-up collar style and is commonly known as the Chinese collar. Here on Fashion Dictionary.
Even though Francisco Costa is one of the most exacting of designers and his clothes are highly disciplined, they still possess a lightness that allows women to move effortlessly through life.
It's very much the Brazilian background of mine, the lightness. In the summer, you only want to wear cotton.
It's subtle and it has like a flow, and when they walk, you see the light coming through. It just seems very fresh.
The challenge was to create something that was really light, but really sharp. Dealing with geometry was quite fun. I mean, I always loved that, but it became even better just mystifying it. You know what I mean? Taking that precision and just breaking it and making the clothes much more organic, making the clothes much more suited to wear, making the clothes much more, friendly and womanly.
Under Francisco Costa, the neutral palette of Calvin Klein has expanded to include everything from subtle pastels to vibrant color, adding a sense of vitality to the line.
Usually when I like a color, it's just that color, or it's more difficult for me to blend, to have too many colors in one print or something. But I love color, and it's a jolt, it's exciting, and I love to play with that.
I think Francisco very much remains true to the DNA of the house in that he uses a lot of beige, very neutral colors, which is basically the hallmark of Calvin Klein. He was America's Mr. Beige when Giorgio Armani was Italy's Mr. Beige. But what Francisco does is he kind of injects that with the sudden lightning bolts of color. So you get, suddenly a really, really, really sharp blue, or you get that sort of daffodil yellow, or you get a hint of a green. And the color looks all the more exciting and remarkable because it's against this rather sort of muted, subtle palette.
Discover and learn the difficult A to Z terminologies of fashion, only here on Fashion Dictionary. Millinery is a hat sold to women, men, and children, though some definitions limit the term to fancy women's hats. Here on Fashion Dictionary.
Francisco Costa would be the first to tell you that he is obsessed with the experimentation of fabric. Costa's high-tech infatuation has given an innovative edge to timeless American sportswear.
The collection for me, it's really a lot about experimentation, you know, and it doesn't need to be over the top layer, you know, it doesn't need to be heavy. You know, I think it still fits the image of Calvin, but it's something that I really like to do.
When I think of Francisco Costa and Calvin Klein, I think what he brought to the label was an experimental idea of fabric and fabrications and working with really high-tech materials that we perhaps didn't associate with designer labels before.
I think he works really hard on finding incredible fabrics and fabrics that kind of feel unique and different, and I think that's a large part of what designing is today, because there's so many labels that can knock off the shape or the design in an easy way. So I think fabrics brings a whole new luxury to the table. I think he's done an amazing job with that.
Francisco Costa's distinctive designer DNA has rebooted the legendary label of Calvin Klein well into the 21st century.
Calvin Klein is about looking forward.
The Calvin label has been very successful because they have managed to slowly but surely change with the times. Not in an in-your-face, we're going to change and we need to look completely different, but gradually, kind of unsuspecting, it's crept up on you and boom, it works every time.
It's different in a good way. I mean, I always have been a Calvin Klein fan, and I've worn Calvin Klein with joy for many, many years. I think it's more modern and slightly more futuristic under his direction. I always love what Calvin Klein stands for.
And I really focus on that, bringing back the essence of the sportswear that the house is well known for, but in my own way.
That really is the heart and the soul of what Calvin Klein represents. Purity, just clean up line, but effortless dressing that really makes a woman look gorgeous.
He's succeeding with putting his stamp on a very well-known label, but making it unique and kind of giving women an idea of like, what is Calvin now? A woman that's been wearing Calvin for many years has something new that she can add to her wardrobe instead of having the same old staples.
What I like is that he's making great strides to develop his own signature with this line and take it into the future in a very pared down way that is the signature of the house anyway.
Well, being here is very stimulating for me because, you know, I come from a very different background, you know, and I've been learning here a lot. Every season I learn more and more. Every season I understand who actually I am and why I'm here.
Fashion One channel is now packed in one box. No subscription needed, just plug and play. Be inspired and fabulous with Fashion One box. Get it now at fashionone.com.
Soon as I saw ya, I found my heartbeat. I didn't even know that thing worked. Does this work? Did you feel it? It's just working too. Cause I could swear I saw it jump on you. So no more fighting what you feel. Give it up to me. I know exactly. Oh, hello, bartender. I raise a glass to you. You've been working so hard, looking so good like you do. I came with my girls, heard new music was on play.
Hi, my name is Dagmara Sangerska. We are on the photo shoot from Harper's Bazaar. And this is the photo shoot of my collection, Diploma collection. And the editor chief chose my collection like the best of the year from my school.
Watch me move, cause I'm serving you tonight, you tonight.
We wanted to shoot it to show our readers what she's doing and what is the how does the young Polish designer scene look like. So we choose Dagmara Stawiarska.
Hello, bartender, I got my eye on you. I've been working so hard, but tonight I'm cutting loose.
The inspiration is David Lynch movies and French painter Pierre Soulages.
So when you're ready for some fun, you know where I'll be. I'm gonna dance. So tell me what you like, what you like. Watch me move, serving you tonight, you tonight. I'm gonna dance, so tell me what you like, what you like. Watch me move, 'cause I'm serving you tonight, you tonight. Do you like the way I shake it, shake it, shake it? This show's for you, so go on.
And we wanted to show our readers how it looks like, and we wanted to show them the inspiration behind the collection, and it was the David Lynch movies. That's why we chose Zosia, which is a puppet